All right, everyone. Welcome back to the League of Extraordinary Autism weekly podcast. I had a little bit of a hiatus last week. As you may or may not know, depending on how active you are in chat, I did, in fact, get married. Yay! Yay! So yeah, we got married and we took our honeymoon down the Keys, and I know all you shitters were really hoping we get rained out by Hurricane Ian, but I will let you know that not only did we completely miss the hurricane, it was beautiful weather the entire week up until the Sunday morning that we took off to fly home. We got some rain then, but didn't really matter. I was in the hotel or in the airport bar drinking as many Bud Lights as I could before I had to get on a flight. So back this week. Uh, Unfortunately, unless you guys all want a 3-4 hour podcast where we won't really go over what happened last week, all that really matters is I won. Uh, but we will go over this week's matchups. And today, as usual, I have Mr. Mort on the cast with us. Say hello to the people, Mort.
Hello, people. Hello.
Any highlights from yourself from last week that you'd like to bring up?
The only thing I would bring up about my game last week is that I am once again very fortunate that I played someone who is very weak because I would have surely lost to almost anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, Ben isn't
There's the
particularly
usual
Ben
shitters.
isn't weak. Ben's also a 4-1 team. You were his first loss of the season, but yeah, he had a low week for sure,
Yeah, it
but
was
bounced right
I,
back.
I just lucked out. I just know that much. And I mean, again, we'll cover it next week, but I have a feeling I'll be singing the same tune.
Well, I mean the reality. Yeah, I guess when we look at points for and points against, your points for are still, I believe, you're just getting edged out by Joe here by a fraction of a point. But I guess the problem for you is that those first 2 weeks were so top heavy that now maybe you're falling off a little. But yeah, you have been very fortunate with one of the, I think, second lowest points allowed. The
Yeah.
only or points against, the only one lower, Tyler. He's
Yeah.
also scored over 100 fewer points than you. So talk about luck. Meanwhile, here I'm
Yeah.
I'm sitting. I guess I'm just in the hunt here at 3-2, but I still believe. Okay, Freddie's there. I'm one of the few teams that has a significant amount of points scored against them, more than points for. But that was, I think, from that week 2 against you, and you just blew me the fuck out.
When my team decided everybody's scoring this week.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the guys down here at the bottom, Neil and Marshall, they're having many more points against them, but they also are 0-5 and 1-4. Um, but I want to do something a little bit different today. We had a couple significant trades, so I figured we could go over the trades and get your thoughts on them. So the first one was I traded away Jeff Wilson and Drake London for Jonathan Taylor. Um, so just for reference here, guys, I will peel back the curtain here a little bit if you feel like using this yourselves, but fantasysp.com has a trade calculator on here. That's what I typically use when evaluating trade values. Now, the one caveat to this is because we are a super flex league, it doesn't quite appropriate. It's not really going to give you the right values for quarterbacks, but you can see if a quarterback has the same general value as another quarterback at least. Um, but on this one, uh, at least by these numbers, Marshall came out on the stronger side of the trade. And my thought process on this was, Marshall last week was 0-4. Jonathan Taylor had been underperforming and was going to be out for the week. Jeff had been doing just fine. In fact, had his best week of the season after we traded. And then Drake London has been breaking out as a rookie. Um, as an 0-4 team, it's tough. I applaud Marshall actually for making moves. I don't know more. I'm sure you remember last year with when Courtney had the team. I continuously kept telling her, you need to trade Mahomes. Her first overall pick, she didn't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And she won all game, all season, and it was against you, I think.
She beat
And
me
like,
twice.
yeah.
That
Oh,
was
yeah.
her only win.
She had 2 wins. She beat you once in the regular season and then once in the very last game of the toilet bowl to make you the overall loser, right?
Yeah.
But the point being is, if your team's struggling, the reality of it is, it I know it can hurt to give away a big name guy like that, um, but sometimes you just got to make moves. I mean, something's got to shake up, right? So to give him 2 startable pieces for one that outside of like what 1 week hasn't really been startable, on top of being out for a week, I thought was a fair trade. Marshall, I wish you would have done it before the game started for the week, man. Like I think
Easy win. Easy
I think
win.
it could have been. I think it because I think had he had those other pieces available, if he had Jeff Wilson, I don't know if he starts Nyheim Hines. And the Nyheim Hines thing, if he hadn't got what was it, concussion ward? I think it was.
Yeah, it was a concussion.
Yeah, like on like the first drive. If that hadn't happened, I think Nyheim uh, could have had a fine game, and maybe we're talking a different story here, anyways. But I have to believe that had you had Jeff Wilson, then maybe you're not in a scenario where you're even starting Nyheim Hines, and then you potentially put one of your other strong wide receivers in. Um,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. For me, we'll get to that later. But you know, I to be honest, this trade could absolutely bite me in the ass. Jeff Wilson, like I said, just had a great week, so I'm hoping Jonathan Taylor bounces back and he returns to. I mean, if he gets anywhere close to where he was last year, then between him and Eckler, I'm feeling really good, right?
Right. I think it makes your team much stronger potentially, but I think uh, smart of Marshall to take those. London. He's going to get his points whenever he comes back because he was what
Yeah, I think
injured or whatever. It
I think he got hurt as well, but
wasn't
yeah,
anything serious.
no, but I mean, he's been the focal point of that offense. I mean, to my chagrin,
And
with Pitts getting ignored, I mean, those targets still have to go somewhere, right?
I'm a believer in Wilson. Um,
Uh,
I stayed away from the Chargers and the 49ers running backs, but Wilson is. I think he's proven that he's the dude. He's that dude.
yeah,
But good on him for making a move, man.
yeah,
Honestly.
the rest of y'all are pussies for not trading me for Jeff Wilson. I've been trying to make moves with him forever because, uh, you know, I had a little
You know
bit
what
of depth at
sucks?
running back.
Correct me if I'm wrong. But
No.
our trade, when I gave you Pittman to get Jimmy G, you had teased Wilson a little bit. I think you had another move pending. You were trying to trade Wilson for someone else, and
Yeah, I
you'd
think it
thrown
was
his
with
name
Matt.
out there,
I'd thrown it out because I was trying to do something with Matt. I was trying to make a move on Saquon because Saquon was, I think he had a rough week or two there.
which again, if we had made that move,
Yeah,
I don't know
I
what else
mean,
you're offering, but it would have worked out.
I think it was essentially this Jeff Wilson and Drake London. I've been thrown out to everyone, as I'm sure most people could attest to.
Well, they'll get to watch that work for
Yeah.
Marshall now because obviously I mean,
Well,
sure, one
what I
game,
mean.
whatever, but
I had to trade for an injured guy. He's been underperforming, so we'll
right.
see. The other big one, which I boiled it down to, it was essentially the outcome of two big trades. Came down to uh, Adam receiving Dalvin Cook, Jalen Waddle, and Justin Herbert and then sending to Dan, Gabe Davis, Josh Jacobs, and Lamar Jackson. Um, and I think the values here kind of speak for themselves. Dalvin and Josh, particularly after this last week, I forget how well Dalvin did this past week, but I mean, at this point, you got to consider them fairly equal. Um, at least points wise, I think you can make the argument that Gabe Davis and Jalen Waddle are about equal, though. Jalen Waddle gets a little bit of a downgrade without Tua, and Gabe Davis obviously is just overperforming on a fewer amount of targets. So uh, that whole part of it is somewhat of a wash in my mind. What it really comes down to is trading away Lamar Jackson for Justin Herbert. Um, Herbert's been fine. right? I think he had like one down week against the Jags, and he's been okay. But I don't know, Lamar. I know you're not a huge fan of him, and your immediate response to this was, "Wow, what an overpay for Lamar." And then
Mm-hmm.
my immediate response was, "Wow, I can't believe Adam traded away Lamar. What an idiot." Uh,
I
so
think both can be true.
I think both can be true, and I mean, and it's like I said about this site specifically. It doesn't necessarily give quarterbacks the right values for what they should be in a super flex, but they do at least show you they're a decent comparison for a quarterback to quarterback. Um,
Hmm.
so Lamar is only a little bit higher than Justin Herbert. In general, in my mind, I kind of think for a super flex, just double the value. So then that discrepancy gets a little bit higher then between these two. Um, but the difference, man, is these top couple, and I actually just found this tweet that kind of shows this. So this is just showing how this year in particular, the gap between just the top couple quarterbacks and then the next seven. So the top 1 through 4 versus the next 5 through 12. How that gap is so wide this year. Now, obviously Lamar's not going to put out 40 points every week, but he's done it twice. Uh, but guys like Lamar and Hurts, they have such a safe floor with the amount of rushing that they get. And then if you can start throwing, for decent yardage on top of it, you just start getting crazy points. And then Josh Allen, I mean, he still has some rushing. He doesn't rush as much as those other guys, but it's such a high powered offense, right? So
Hmm.
he's up there at number one. I don't imagine he gets dethroned anytime soon. Um, but I don't know. This was sort of my reasoning on why I thought Adam was insane. And what I can say is Adam lost this week and Dan won. So far I'm right again, guys. Keep that in mind.
Bruh.
This man's from the future.
I'm from the future.
We'll learn one of these days.
Someday. I mean, Marshall got it. He listened to me on a trade at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll run through some matchups here. Is there any boring ones? Any shitters? I guess we can run through this one. We can. I don't really know if Kyle listens to this or not. I'm 99% certain that Neil doesn't even knows that this exists. So
No, I've
uh,
done trades. I don't think the dude even checks his fucking roster at this point, but we'll see because he's got a dude on uh,
yeah, we'll know real
Tannehill's
quick.
out. So
Yeah, we'll know real quick. He's got a couple guys that are in his starting lineup, or at least were this past week, that he'll need to move out. So it'll be real obvious if he's actually paying attention. But he's for certain not listening to this. But we can run through Kyle's team here. Joe Burrow, he is quarterback number 8 on the season. So considering he went in the first round, underperforming where you'd want him, right? But he's been solid. That was a fun game, the Baltimore and Cincinnati game.
it really was. Yeah, it was a good version of the Broncos game. Like both teams were actually good
Yeah, yeah.
versus you know what I'm saying. But yeah, it was a fun game.
Burrow's been doing all right. Brees Hall, I'm sure Kyle is probably was ecstatic to see this. Um, for Brees Hall to have his true breakout game here, because he's been solid, right? I mean, 12 and a half, 12
Mm-hmm.
and a half, 14. Um, but to just have a massive game like this one, that's got to feel good. I think he actually did. I think he dropped Carter. Yeah, he did drop Carter, who, unfortunate for Brees, did come in and vulture like 2 touchdowns. Brees got him like what all the way to the 2 different times, and then Carter came in and got some tutties. Um, but yeah, that's good to see.
It's interesting he dropped him because I mean,
Carter,
just looking at Carter's points, it's
yeah.
like 2 weeks for kind of shit, but
Well, I think he was probably anticipating the Brees Hall takeover, which is certainly there. Um, you know, should Michael Carter be rostered? You can make an argument for that. If anything happens to Brees, it's certainly his backfield.
True. It's same with like Gibson. It's like you guys haven't been picked up yet.
Well, Gibson was okay even when he was the guy. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just looking at Kyle's bench here. He picked up Pacheco maybe as a speculative ad. I'd probably keep. I probably would have kept Carter over rostering a second tight end, especially
Small Alley Cox,
Mo
baby,
Alley
it's a legend.
Cox.
You remember when
Yeah.
I picked him up a couple years ago and you called me a fucking retard?
Well, I mean, look, he had one game, my dude. I guess
You know,
that's an okay speculative pickup, but that's how tight ends have been all year.
right? One game and he's number
One
13th
game, yeah.
overall. It's like, okay.
But yeah, Kareem Hunt continues to be. I mean, he's the just most solid RB2 there is, right? Cortland Sutton, nothing amazing there. Russell Wilson, I don't know. I heard he apparently dealing with a torn pec or something,
Dude, okay. Did you see, yeah, torn rotator cuff or
or
something,
rotator
right?
cuff. Yeah,
But like week 2, I think it was, you had Matthew Berry saying that soon they're going to come out and say he's got like a torn rotator cuff or some kind of
sure,
injury. And
sure.
sure enough, he's playing like garbage, and they come out and say, "Hey, he's hurt." It's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it could be all smoke and mirrors, but if it
He's a
is
scam
true,
artist, dude.
yeah, if it is true, at least it somewhat explains things. Uh, Lazard had an okay night. Hey, Rob, dude,
He just runs. That's all he does is run routes. He does not do
yeah,
shit.
I love Allen Robinson. He's a Penn State guy, but man, I would not be starting him. You got to find someone else, Kyle. I mean, you survived this week, but you got to find someone else. Kelsey, however, though, fucking massive, dude. 4
It's just
touchdowns on
so gross.
7 receptions, 25 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, another fun game to watch. I was a little bummed with how it ended.
Yeah.
You know, I personally wanted to see the Raiders win, but
I just don't like how I'm not a Raiders fan by any means, but I'm so tired of Kansas City and Mahomes. He's so great. Kelsey, he's so fucking great, which I mean he is, but
yeah,
it's like please someone fucking knock him off, beat him. It's like when the Colts beat him, it's like what the hell?
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm
But
just
I
tired of
mean, I
Kansas
don't
City.
short of injury, I don't think his dominance stops anytime soon. I mean,
No, he's a
he's the number one
33,
target.
man.
He's the number one target on the team. So Andy Dalton, man, I don't know. I guess he has his own handcuff, Winston and all that. But I don't know. I thought people had it together a little bit more with the Superflex this year, and then you're starting to see it with injuries and people getting benched and this and that. People are really hurting at quarterback right now.
Yeah.
The only thing I guess for Neil's team that's worth, or a couple things, Rashad Penny being hurt and out. I mean, he wasn't doing. He had one good game, but
He's
um,
fucking dead now.
he's dead. Which I think he's a young guy. 4 years. Yeah, I don't know. That could be tough because I think this was his last year in his contract. So I don't know. I'm sure he'll get a job somewhere, but
Kenyon Drake can keep getting fucking
yeah,
contracts.
right. Um, James Robinson. I mean, people want to, and not necessarily in this league because Neil has him and Neil doesn't talk, but you know, if you look at places like forums and all that, and anybody suggested that ETN's the better running back and ETN's going to take over this backfield, like, oh no, J Rob's so good. Look at him this year. He's running good. He's got all these yards. He's getting touchdowns. Well, the reality is James Robinson, it's been a couple of long runs that he, you know, just broken plays where he takes off for 40, 50 yards or whatever, and then it inflates his numbers so much that, you know, you take that away, he's closer to this, you know, 2.7 a carry. So, you know, I love James Robinson. Glad to see he's still got a job and he's looking all right, but I'm telling you, it's gonna be ETN's backfield. I was hoping it would be his right off the bat when I drafted him, but you know, sometimes patience pays off.
Dare you say ass eating season?
Ass eating season. The other major thing here, though, is dude, Najee Harris is a mess. I really wish somebody more active in this league had drafted him so I could just roast him. but this is. I looked at Neil's team, you know, when I was trying to make trades, and as difficult as it, like I got Neil's number right. I could, or on Snapchat or something, I could message him if I really wanted to. But I looked at Najee, I was like, no, don't want that.
Yeah, I sent him a trade. I withdrew it because I figured I'm not going to hear anything from him, and I'm tired
Probably
of
not.
seeing that little notification.
Yeah, probably not. Or it'll sit out there, and then all of a sudden, you know, somebody you're trying to trade for gets hurt, and he'll go hit smash right when you don't want him to.
Right.
But point is, you know, be active. Don't be an asshole. But I don't know. I imagine he's only going to be less active now after he's gone 1-4.
Hard to be less active
Yeah,
than he
I
has
know.
been,
I
but
know.
yeah.
I guess the point is, Marshall, you've been perfectly perfectly at an acceptable level of activeness in the league. You at least stop in, you make trades. I know there's a bunch of us Riri's in here that are in here all the time. That's not at all an expectation. But you know, let us know you're live, Neil.
Yeah, we see your little logo pop up every now and
Yeah.
then in the chat, see you reading. So
Right. You know, and just like, you know, Ben, you see him you see him like once a month. Let's go over the other major inactive guy here, Robin. Who, come on, man, just got you in the league this year. I'm gonna have to kick you back out. That's a guy I know. I've known for a while. We used to play in work leagues. But Tyler, let's see. Russell Wilson sucks. Fournette,
career day.
yeah. I mean, Fournette's good, but yeah, that's a really big day. Pierce, maybe you hit something with him. He's fun to watch. It's fun, you know, see what he does.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's 3 consistent weeks now
yeah,
that
yeah, 3
Pierce
good
has done
weeks.
well.
I just, I looked at him. I just didn't think. I mean, obviously he's the bell cow for the Texans, but it's the Texans. So, but I guess war of attrition here. You carry 26 times, you can get 100 yards and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson, not much to say. He's the guy. Dobbs, what, he had a decent couple weeks and then kind of faded away a little bit. I don't know. Green Bay is kind of weird right now, right? Because you got
Yeah,
it doesn't really feel like there's any real wide receiver one. Just kind of Rogers is
I
getting
thought it was going to
everything.
be Lazard, but it's like
Yeah,
so random.
Kittle
And
like
Aaron's not even playing that good.
no. Well, it's, you know, he's so used to having like a massive wide receiver, right? He's sort of always had that, hasn't he?
So I read an interesting stat. He's never, I think he's thrown to maybe one first round pick, first round wide receiver. But other than that, it's just been whoever.
Yeah.
Like Devonte Adams was the best one since, fuck, I don't know Green Bay too well, but he hasn't really had superstars other
Sure.
than guys. We need Joe for this part because Joe would probably be able to go back.
Oh yeah, he would know. He would know. But
Like, I
I
know
don't
he's
know.
had some good receivers, but none of them have been first round, like quality kind of shits.
But I don't know. Dobbs, I'm sure long term he'll be great. Maybe not this year, but he's looked
Yeah, I
good
was
for a
gonna say
rookie.
maybe not this year, but hell, maybe not even under Rodgers.
Kittle though.
Oh, brother,
Kittle,
this guy stinks!
I'm not shocked to see him not really producing.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean,
I'd love to make fun of him more, but I'm in the same situation with Pitts.
at least he's
Uh,
getting points out of them.
yeah. Olave, another promising rookie, had a decent.
He just got hurt though.
Concussion. Yeah. So here's my thoughts on that. With the hyper focus on concussions right now, he's probably gonna miss at least a week. I would think.
Oh,
I don't
minimum.
think anybody's gonna get rushed back from concussion protocol this season.
I'll say this. Oh, I mean, you can go with Fields. Fields is a fucking joke.
I don't have much to say there. Patterson
Rams.
dead. Keenan Allen, he's gonna be, even when he comes back, he's just gonna re-injure that hammy, bro. Sorry, I told you. It's like I said at the beginning of the season. Williams is the guy to have. He's like 5 years younger, man. These guys, you don't hit 30 and then suddenly have a breakout season.
Interesting. I dropped Pickens. It looks like he picked him up, and
Yeah.
Pickens is suddenly the dude to have over there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but I wouldn't feel bad about it. He's a good fill-in if you have an injury or a bye week. But
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're looking at
he's
his
not a
points, right?
week-to-week guy.
13 and 11.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to score that against Tampa Bay.
no.
I'm pretty sure Tampa Bay is going to feast on Pickett or whoever the fuck they throw out there.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. It's another rookie though. Another rookie that's looking good.
mhm.
On the other side, like you said, Rodgers is QB 18. Derrick Henry's finally showing back up. Must be snowing somewhere.
It's getting colder.
Yeah, it's snowing somewhere up north. Jamar Chase, he's kind of feeling like a bust after that week 1. But
Yeah, he
again,
hasn't really done a whole lot.
It's on Robin's team, so we don't really have the opportunity to make fun of him.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek, yeah. Teddy Bridgewater out. How do you? He's got both of the. I forgot he also has Tua, so he has two concussed Miami quarterbacks.
The Bridgewater one kind of sucks because like I don't know if you read up on that one, but apparently
Oh yeah, it was he was out because of the new rule, ataxia or whatever.
And
yeah,
no one on the team saw him wobble. It was just some independent dude, some person that's part of the new protocol thing was
that's
like, "Oh yeah, he's out."
When you fuck up as bad as the Dolphins did with Tua, this is what you get, and it's gonna seem like bullshit sometimes, but that's kind of the reality. Not much else on his bench. I guess Boone is an interesting hold. Garrett Wilson's interesting hold. Elijah Mitchell, I don't know. I guess you don't drop him, but I think it's a non-zero possibility that even when he comes back, assuming he comes back, after 8 weeks or whatever, like they were hoping, it's non-zero possibility that Jeff just remains the guy because he's looked good. But just my 2 cents on that. Let's see. We'll go over Young and Ben. Ben's the other kind of inactive guy. And so Ben was an inactive guy that won, and Adam active in the chat. So let's roast his team. Dalvin Cook, obviously, like I said, he's a good pickup for you, Young. But I would have stopped there. I would have stopped after you got Cook and you still had Lamar. You weren't really missing a whole lot when you traded away Mixon. And here's what I mean. His best game so far, 18 points. I mean, he gets some, and that was when he had 9 targets. He's not getting 9 targets every game. 7 receptions.
I said it in chat, and like I partially mean it when I say it. My opinions on certain trades or players is largely based in a negative opinion of poor performance they have given me sometime. Joe Mixon being one of them, where he fucked me in the playoffs a few years ago.
We both played him in different leagues in the playoffs. I remember.
I have no love for this bum.
He had mud butt.
And it's like, yeah, he's had a great. What was it last year? He was really good.
Sure.
But again, hey, so was Jonathan Taylor. It's these
Right.
names.
I mean, it's hard to speculate on new guys coming in. I get that you have to go off of past performance, but I don't know. Again, I just think of it more in the context of because he had drafted Mixon, right? I just think of it in the context if you traded away Lamar Jackson to get this guy back, essentially.
I think. I think that it was a lot to give up when you showed the trade again.
Yeah,
I
and that was
think
the
I would
abridged version
probably
of it.
pull. Yeah, like I feel like I would pull back that saying of he paid a lot for him,
No,
but
I still think Dan got a deal.
yeah, I don't care what that trade analyzer really says.
Sure.
I think I love Herbert. I'm a Herbert truther, but
And he's a
he fucked
good
his ribs
quarterback.
up.
Yeah, and he's probably going to be dealing with that all season.
Oh yeah, that just doesn't go away.
And he's playing through it. So
Their line isn't exactly stellar either. He's not a runner like Lamar is. Lamar can run away.
right.
Herbert's probably going to take a sack or throw it away. Sure,
Yeah, I mean
Lamar can get sacked,
look at
but
his
he's
attempts
probably
here.
going to
I
run
mean,
for a first.
he doesn't he does not run. He's a pocket passer kind of guy, which is fine, and he's decent for fantasy. In real life he's good. For fantasy he's decent.
Give him
It,
a year or two, and he's going to be killer, even more
sure.
than he is now. But
I mean, he had a really
yeah,
big year last year. I get it. He was number 2 last year. Everybody's hoping he could be number 1 or top 3 again this year or something. But
yeah, so did Kaepernick, and then they
sure,
figured him out.
sure,
Herbert's not immune to it. Just like, I mean, the only person I'd say was immune to that shit was Peyton Manning and Tom Brady.
yep,
But even then, they had schemes ran against them where
right.
they just shit the bed. And Herbert's definitely not on their level.
Waddle here. I think once he gets a little more, once Tua comes back, he'll probably be fine. Higgins was strange because he was like a game time decision. They said he was good to go, and then he was just right out of the game.
Yeah, he ran like one play, 2 plays. Like, no, this dude's dead. Like, his brain's scrambled.
Yeah, that that sucked. Fryermuth, whatever, tight end hell. Thielen, I mean, he's fine, I guess. I don't know, dude. So number 33 in PPR, we're half PPR, so he's somewhere in between these two. You could probably do better than rolling out a wide receiver 3. Stafford.
It sucks because I like Thielen, but he hasn't been good for like 4 years now.
He's old. He's old man. They got the new hotness there with Justin Jefferson. It's Stafford. I think this is what I hated the most because in that last trade, he got Herbert and then he got Stafford back, and Stafford's just been dog shit for fantasy. I mean, the Rams just haven't looked good.
They haven't looked good, but before the season started, the talk was, hey, this motherfucker couldn't even practice for like 90 days or some shit because of the surgery.
Playing through injury. The only person he apparently knows how to throw to is Kupp, which that's fine for Kupp for fantasy, but it's not good for the actual Rams. It's not good for Stafford for fantasy.
So another thing with Stafford too, it's week 1 was Monday night, where he was caught on a live mic saying he can't throw. Week 1, right. He's saying he can't throw.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. Sure, what did he do? He had 20 points on week 2 against an Atlanta team.
Yep.
Cool. Like, yep. He's not going to be. Sure, if you need a quarterback, I would love to have him.
Sure. As your quarterback, too, he's okay. But, I mean, I'm trying to remember because
he's not worth any kind of trade material.
Here's the thing.
If he is, it's very fucking little.
Prior to this, though, because I think he had Matt Ryan, right? Before he traded for Herbert. Let's see. What was did that trade happen in week 4? Yeah, he had Lamar and Matt Ryan. I would much rather have Lamar and Matt Ryan than Stafford and Herbert. Like, that's easy to me because to me, and that's what I meant. It's Stafford and Matt Ryan. I think Stafford's actually, let's see, he's number 22. Yeah, they're both low end quarterback twos.
Mm-hmm.
They're very, very close in points. And then you gave away a top 3 guy for number 10. So is what it is.
And I like the trade off of a fun point of view.
Sure. No, I'm glad people are doing wild and wacky trades, but I'm never gonna not roast Adam about it because I still think it was just retarded on his.
Yeah, it's another one of them things where I look forward to the end of the season where we
Sure.
do a
Yeah,
flashback.
yeah. We'll have to look and see how these trades all turned out at the end of the season.
Because I think there's a lot of, I mean, it's obviously a good way out, but there's a lot of in-depth review that could be done off this trade alone.
Sure.
Just, I mean, you don't even have to dig too deep into it. You can just kind of glance at points for that week, who won, and whatever, and be like, okay, if
Yeah.
you'd have had so and so, you would have fucking crushed.
Yeah.
Especially if they get to the playoffs and they lose by 5, 10, 15 points, whatever, and then you go and look, and let's say Lamar
Mm-hmm.
scored fucking
Now
22
you,
points or whatever.
you start going down that rabbit hole though, then you almost have to look at every single week and be like, well, would they even made the playoffs the other way, right?
Sure.
But yeah, we'll absolutely do a show just on that. Now, looking at Adam's team though, look at this fucking bench, dude. That is so bad. He's got Latavius Murray. Like, why? He's okay. He played a little bit. So he was on a different team here though, wasn't he?
He was on the Saints, and
He's
then
on
he
the
signed with
Saints.
the Broncos
Signed
when
with the
what's his name
Broncos.
died.
Yeah, Jamarius Vavaris. But yeah, so he's on the Broncos now. Maybe that will turn into something. Chase Edmonds, you missed him. You missed playing him as one good week because it seems like it's Mostert's job now. And then Khalil Herbert. That's Montgomery's job, and they made that clear, right? He came back, and Montgomery was the lead guy again. Khalil Herbert took a back seat. So I don't know what you're going to do with anybody on your bench here, Adam. Sorry, I have a little technical difficulties here with Sleeper on my computer. Did I lose internet connection? No. Can you hear me? Hello? All right, I'm going to pause here for a second. All right, sorry about that. Quick internet blip there.
He had to censor out the racial slurs he was dropping.
That's right. But yeah, Adam's bench sucks, is what I was saying, though. I mean, Latavius Murray, maybe he gets a part-time role, but I mean, he wasn't on a team at the beginning of the season, right? I think he just got cut. Chase Edmonds is taking a back seat now to Mostert.
When will people learn? I told Joe this. I'll say it again. Arizona running backs are not to be trusted. And he played in Arizona.
Yep.
He's just, don't do it. Don't do it.
And then
It's nice to see Mostert though.
Sure,
do well.
He's an old man, ain't he? He's 30. But I mean, it's looking like it's his backfield though. So I don't know. That'll be interesting. But I don't feel good about holding Chase. Like, here's the thing: he went in like what, the 9th round? Yeah, 9th round. In the 9th round, he seemed like a value, at least through like the first. Like after week 3, you're feeling really good about it. But I guess the reality of that is he just managed to get 2 touchdowns. He didn't do anything. He had 6 touches for 21 yards. So it's not like he was getting a whole lot of work. But to your point, I guess there's something to it of not trusting those Arizona running backs.
I'm biased. I hate Arizona teams except for maybe the Diamondbacks, but
sure. But yeah, and then with Khalil Herbert, again, he's a solid handcuff.
Yeah.
Now that Montgomery's back, it's clearly it's going to be his field or his backfield again. It seems like Khalil Herbert only took or had 4 touches when Monty came back. So I don't know. I'm just saying. Looking at Adam's bench, it's scary.
I'm in danger.
Ben's team, just run by it quick. Mahomes obviously is good. Pollard, he's interesting, but when he had that one long touchdown run, you take that away, and he's not even really worth talking about this week. AJ Dillon, fuck, dude. I think people were really high on Dillon, and after that first week, people are feeling really good about Dillon, but not so much now. I wouldn't want to roll him out if I didn't have to.
No, I feel weird about Aaron Jones. It's like you just don't know who's going to get anything.
I mean, Aaron Jones is getting the bulk of the carries. right? It's just, but he's just hasn't been getting touchdowns is his biggest problem. He's getting a couple targets a game. He's getting the bulk of the carries. It's just he hasn't necessarily done the. He's not a guy who's going to get 20 carries a game.
Right.
I mean, 20 combined touches, sure, with targets and everything, but he's for whatever reason he's just not getting the touchdowns. I guess have the Packers just not been scoring a whole lot?
Yeah, I haven't been really paying attention, but
You haven't really watched them.
I mean, what was
This is 27-22 loss in London. That's right. So they're scoring. It's just not Aaron Jones isn't doing it. Which last year
last year he was pretty good if I remember right.
yeah, he finished as number 10. I mean, he's number 13 in PPR. It's not like he's killing you. He only had 4 touchdowns last year. He had 4 rushing touchdowns and 6 receiving touchdowns. It was the 2 years prior that he really took off with a bunch of touchdowns, though. Or at least year before 9 rushing, year before 16 rushing. So he's just kind of been on a decline. I'm not really sure. But I don't know. That doesn't feel good to have either of them at the moment, really. Duvernay. He was kind of interesting this past week. But again, outside of Mark Andrews, I don't necessarily want anybody on that offense other than, Lamar or Andrews. Devontae Smith, is he the real one? Is he the real one on the Eagles?
That's a. I wanted to say it was AJ Brown, but
I know, but I'm saying, like, is he the real one? I don't know.
I don't know. I watched that
I'm
game
glad
yesterday.
he's actually playing. I'm glad he's actually doing something this season because last season was rough.
Or sorry, not yesterday, but the game Sunday against the Cardinals, and it's kind of like, well, how
11
I don't know.
11 targets, 10 receptions, 87 yards. If one of those receptions had been a touchdown, you could make a case, I think. But obviously, Mark Andrews, one of only 2 tight ends you really want to own. It's not much to say there. I mean, look at these targets. He's the number one. It's the same thing as with Kelsey, right? He's the number 1 target on the team. Makes me sad I didn't get him instead of Pitts. I thought Pitts was going to do the same thing. Devontae Adams, big game, but I think he needs to be suspended. He needs to be suspended 3 games minimum. Let's send a message. You can't assault the cameraman. I don't care what you say, Joe. It's not okay. You can't just attack people for doing their jobs.
I had to say that Draymond Green was right to punch Jordan Poole in the face because he pushed Draymond away.
I don't know, dude. What an asshole. The best part is during this game, like they keep showing like these highlights and talking about the friendship between him and Derek Carr. Oh, they're best friends and they're so happy to be playing together. And this motherfucker just pushes the cameraman down on the ground. I think they said he filed a police report, which means the dude's gonna get money. He's gonna get paid.
Oh, he's gonna get $100K or something.
Yeah. And then those kind of sweep it under the rug, I'm sure. But I don't know. He's still Devontae though. He's still even with Carr. I know there's a lot of questions, but he's looking good.
Carr's such a weird quarterback. He looks so good, and then he looks like shit.
Yeah.
It just can't be consistent at all, it seems.
Yeah. I got screwed by Goff in another league. It was just a shitty game.
I think a lot of people did. I didn't see the game. I haven't highlights. I don't know how New England schemed against him so freaking well.
I don't know, man.
Like they just dominated every
He just didn't throw any touchdowns. Whereas like he's had a couple weeks worth 4 touchdowns. He just didn't throw any.
I wonder if it was raining or something weird.
Maybe.
I say weird. It's not really weird, but.
And then to add on top of it, threw an interception, lost a fumble. I don't know. I think Goff will still be okay. But Here's the thing, though. You look at Ben's team. He's got Mahomes. He's got Goff. Buffalo defense is also. I mean, both these guys had good defenses. But his bench quarterback is Kirk Cousins. This is how you do it, boys. You get 3 startable quarterbacks. You don't fucking punt and take Zach Wilson or some shit.
I mean, you do, but then you pay the price for it.
I'm just saying, Ben's never gonna really feel like he's hurting at quarterback, even through bye weeks. It's like, yeah, the week Mahomes is out, it sucks to not have Mahomes to roll out, but you still got Goff and Cousins, who are both within the top 12 quarterbacks right now. So I don't know. Cousins had a big game. Beat the Bears. Akers, dude, I don't know what your thoughts are on this. To me, he's damn near just fucking droppable. 13 attempts for 33 yards.
Well, it's like Henderson. It's like, when are they going to do anything? But
they need to get their heads out of their fucking asses and just start playing Henderson, man. They really do. Because he's looked like the better running back when they let him play.
He didn't even get a single carry last week. And
just the targets.
Yeah, and he still did better than Akers. It's like I don't understand. It's like I'm keeping Henderson or shopping him a little bit because I think he'll eventually become number one.
I thought he would. Well, he was looking that way when I traded him to you, because he had just.
Oh yeah.
You know, he took the bulk of carries after week 1. Week 2, he had 10 carries and a touchdown. You know, Cam Akers. Week 2, Cam Akers had 15, but he was putting up less than 3 a carry. Henderson was putting up almost 5, so I was like, oh well, obviously it's gonna be Henderson. And then that's when the trade was essentially Henderson and Jimmy G, right, for Pittman. So I really did not think Henderson was gonna fall off a fucking cliff, but it's obvious right now that the Rams are just trying to make Cam the thing. I can't imagine that stays that way if Cam keeps looking how he has.
I don't know what they're doing over there. I don't know if they're waiting for Odell to be like, I'm ready, guys, let's do it. To try and take the pressure off of Kupp or whoever. But that team, I had very little faith in them going into this year because you had the head coach who's like, I'm going to retire if Donald or whatever his fucking name retires. And he's like, well, I'll do another year. They just paid me, infinite money, so I'll play again. Right. It's like, I got no faith in that fucking shit. And then, yeah, we've been over it week 1. He's like, I can't throw. And that team doesn't make sense to me.
It's not great. Judy, I mean, we talked about Russ. It's rough. Julio, I don't know, man. I'm just glad he isn't one of Tom Brady's primary targets, because I don't know how much he's going to play this year.
If they're smart, they don't try and force him out. They let him heal.
Yeah.
And then when end of season comes or playoffs, you roll him back out, and you take full advantage of him being a fresh body.
Yep. I agree 100%.
I mean, he's old as fuck.
Just another tight end here with Tanyan. Whatever. We're going to run through mine here. Obviously, fantastic week. Jalen Hurts, what can I say? I know how to pick him, boys. I mean, it's how many he's had. I mean, look at if you just looked at his rushing, you'd say that's a damn good running back. As many touches and touchdowns and everything as he gets. And then on top of that,
the joke was he was garbage time king last year. Right. Now he's just fucking balling.
Now the Eagles are actually good.
Mm-hmm.
You bring in AJ Brown. Now all of a sudden you also have, games where you're throwing for over 300 yards a game and 3 tutties. Eckler's officially back. This way, Matt made a joke last week because Eckler had one good game. He's like, "Oh, watch out! Carr's gonna try and trade Eckler." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. This is just This is the confirmation I needed that he's still the guy." You know what I mean?
Yeah. What are all of his weapons? What are Herbert's weapons over there?
Well, right now I got both of them, Eckler and Mike Williams.
Yeah, Keenan Allen's fucking hurt.
Old
When's
man
he gonna
Keenan.
come back?
I don't know.
What's he going to do when he comes back?
Right, because his hamstring's been bad enough. It's been what 4 weeks or 4 weeks he's sat out,
Hammies are one of them things too. It's either you come
Yeah.
back 100%,
or you're just gonna tweak it
and
again.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so no, fuck you, Matt. I'm never trading Eckler.
I'll give you Allen for him.
He came back. Ooh. Well, if I didn't already have two great quarterbacks, I'd consider it. Maybe.
Tell you what, I'll give you Allen and Sanders.
No.
Okay.
But
I tried.
He came out this week. It's 173 fucking yards on 16 carries. Another 4 targets. 2 touchdowns. He's the man. What can I say? Ramondre. So I wanted to say this. So part of me, when I still had Jeff, part of me considered. Yeah, my name Jeff. Part of me considered benching him for Ramondre, and the reason being was they were playing against Detroit. So the trade then essentially forced me to play Ramondre. And I'm glad I did. I mean, to be fair, Damian got hurt, right? He went out, so Ramondre had to take over. But this has always been the case. When Damian's been out, Ramondre just looks fantastic. So, Damian's going to miss a couple weeks at least.
I was going to ask,
he's also
what was his injury?
Hammy.
Yeah, he'll be out for a while.
Yeah, he's likely to miss multiple games. And then it's like you said, when he comes back, what's he going to look like? And then in his absence, if Ramondre looks real good, I mean, I know the Patriots they don't really usually have a bell cow guy, right? But Ramondre, second year guy, looking really good. Pittman, that was just a shit game. At least he got something. It wasn't a complete.
It's a shit
bust.
game, but he almost had 9 points.
Right. That's what I mean. Like this is absolute floor, right? Like if you're not scoring any touchdowns, you're only putting up 12 points, and you're still getting almost 9 points, I'm not gonna complain. Christian Kirk, on the other hand, fucking Jags, man. We've lost. I think it's like 9 in a row now to the fucking Texans. It's like, what the hell? I'm more mad about the actual game than I am Kirk not doing anything. Trevor Lawrence is like imploding. I don't know what's going on. He was looking real nice at the start of the season, and then these last 2 games have just been complete ass.
It's like the Eagles broke him with those 4 fumbles.
See, he got the 666 points.
El Diablo.
Yeah, and then now he's cursed. But I don't know. Probably looking to bench Kirk if I can for a little while. Conklin wasn't even worth fucking dropping anyone to get this motherfucker.
Should have just played it empty.
Should have just left Pitts in. Should have just left Pitts in. Imagine if I had picked up Taysom Hill though. Like, it was a consideration. I mean, in retrospect, the way these streaming tight ends have been, he may as well have just rolled the dice and said, "Well, I hope something happens," because he does wildcat shit.
I think. I mean, I don't know if anybody listened to the podcast before the waivers go through tonight. They might. I think Joe would probably. I could see Joe doing it. He's trying to get that inside scoop.
Doing late night baby shit.
That's true. I think Taysom gets picked up for a lot of money tonight.
I think Taysom's going to be a huge pickup. I don't think I'm really in the runnings for it. I don't want to spend I don't want to spend a bunch of fab on him only because I have Pitts, and like I'm not going to play that. I don't want to play that game for myself where it's like, do I play Pitts or do I play Taysom? And the reality is Pitts, after he comes back from injury, maybe he's just ass all season. He absolutely could be. But the fact of the matter is I'm not going to get anything for him in a trade. And to me, even if he's putting up 3 points, well, at least it's more than 0. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just...
Taysom Hill is the lottery ticket. He's either going to score you a bunch of points or he's going to be like every other tight end that's not Mandrews, Ertz, or Kelsey.
He's just, it's the carousel of tight end hell. Now, Mike Will made it, on the other hand.
Another one.
Another great game. 2 weeks in a row now. He's looking number 9 wide receiver on the year, PPR.
Yeah, he's
I mean, obviously it's
killing
with
it.
Allen out. It's obviously with Allen out, but even last year, last year he finished number. He's like the number's weird, but in our league it was probably roughly 10, 11, something like that. So he's always going to be valuable, but it's just nice when he doesn't have the competition for targets. Tom Brady, on the other hand, here, man, like I think there's a lot of people around the league, like, what's going on with him, but he didn't have his weapons. But now
He's pulling his cock out.
he's got his guys back. So just after just 2 good weeks here, you could 3. Green Bay was okay, but he still didn't have anyone. But 2 good weeks here, he's already moved up to quarterback 13. So like I said, this is how you do it. You get Jalen Hurts, you got Tom Brady to start, and then here on my bench I got Danny Dimes, quarterback 14. How about that?
Yeah, he's been. I think the entire Giants team has been
It's 4-1.
phenomenal.
Danny's playing for a job, man.
I think.
They declined his 5th-year option. He's literally playing for a job right now.
Oh yeah, well you got what's their head coach Brian Dable, the ball.
Yeah. Yep. Brian Dable.
He is. I was reading another article. It's like how he's going to get a lot of coaches fired. It's like good. Fucking stop hiring these stupid fucking coaches out of college.
Yeah.
Cliff Kingsbury is one of them. Fucking loser he didn't even have a winning record at Texas Tech. And suddenly he's given the keys to a fucking Lambo.
Yep.
But yeah, the whole Giants team is playing well above, I think, their weight.
Yeah.
And
but I'm
they
not
used to-
complaining. I feel fine.
oh
with him
no,
on
I think
bye
he's a good
weeks.
pickup because last year he's a turnover machine. Like you just can't
Right.
fucking stop. And this year he's actually doing pretty dang good.
Like you said, ETN looked good despite the loss. I think
Yeah.
his work is going to increase. Isaiah, I have a on again, off again relationship with him.
I think he got hurt, didn't he?
Isaiah's concussion. He's out for concussion protocol.
He'll probably miss a game.
Yeah, I don't know. He's on the end of my bench. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Him and Conklin. So I got some. I don't mind it to have a couple of guys to be able to move around. I don't know, guys. I've got a whole bunch of running backs to trade if anybody's interested.
What's going on with Eckler?
Not him. Matt's team. Like you said, Trevor Lawrence just sort of imploding. All things considered, in a game with no touchdowns and everything, though, 12 points is that's fine. Doesn't feel good, but could have been worse. Could have been 6.66 again. But here's where he's really coming into his namesake, right? 2019 All-Stars, McCaffrey and Saquon, looking good. I'm curious to see what happens with McCaffrey, though. I think we talked about it in the chat a little bit. If he does get traded to the Bills, I think his floor is higher, but I think his ceiling's also lower.
Yeah, you said it's going to be a great move for the actual team, shitty for fantasy, and I think that's just it 100%.
You got all these. You could. I mean, who knows where he actually goes, or if he goes anywhere? But it sounds like that's what the Panthers are doing. They're trying to rebuild. So, but good to see he's staying healthy and having good games. Saquon, I really wish I could have got him, but I almost did. I did at one point. I did offer Matt Eckler straight up for Saquon. He turned me down. But in retrospect, I'm feeling good about that because Eckler's number 1. I mean, Saquon's number 2 or 3, depending on the exact scoring. But I would have just liked to have Saquon on my team. But Matt's not going to trade him. It's short of disaster. Which he could maybe. Well, no, he's not in the disaster mode yet. Juju, fuck Juju. I told him not to do anything for you. Mike Evans, guy. Hawkinson, tight end. Mostert, we already kind of talked about Mostert, but 18 carries, 113 yards, and a tutty. couple targets. Old man Mostert. Hopefully he stays healthy for you, Matt. Mariota, fuck that guy. See, this is, and Matt repeats that sentiment because he already has Ritter on his bench ready to go. So he's ready for Mariota to be taken out. Other notes here. Curtis Samuel continues to be pretty decent. I mean, he had one bad week against Dallas, but
A surprising name, but yeah, he's been.
I mean, he's on his bench.
Not too bad.
Maybe, perhaps rightfully so, but for a guy you got for nothing, literally off of waivers, and he's a top 24 wide receiver.
Oh yeah, great pickup.
DJ Moore. I mean, I don't know if I'd want to play him this week, but I mean, anything's got to be better than Baker for him.
Well, they'll probably be playing at a high level because they just shit canned Matt Rule, but
right.
Steve Wilkes is. We shit canned his bum ass after a year. He was fucking that bad. So have fun, Panthers fans. You guys are in the pits of misery.
Yeah, hopefully,
like truly.
But this is another guy like similar to almost Pitts, where I think there's a lot of hype for him at the beginning of the season, and now you couldn't trade him if you wanted to, but you can't really drop him.
Yeah, I don't know what you.
Hold.
I mean, I could see someone
hold.
Trading for him, but you're not going to get anything great back.
That's right. But that's what I mean. It's the same thing with Pitts. You could get something. You're not going to get anything that you wanted.
No, there's a good chance that he actually picks up the performance later in the year versus whatever the fuck you traded for.
Yeah.
So basically, I'll give you one Mayfield.
Right. Let's go to Joe and Dan next. The blowout of the week here.
Yeah, this game wasn't even close.
I guess it was a close game, but I mean, highest score up for Dan's part. So we'll start with him. Lamar, I know like Adam's feeling real smart because he didn't get 20 points, but I still take the guy who can get me 40.
Oh, he can get you 40 any Sunday too. That's the thing.
Right.
This isn't, oh hey, he's playing the Lions. He might give me 40. This is no, he'll get you 40 versus anyone.
He got 40 against New England. You know what I mean? Threw for 218, 4 touchdowns, and then ran for 170 yards and another touchdown. And he's basically outside of week 1, pretty much 10 plus rushing attempts a game. He's just he's like Hurts. So I don't know, down game, but still better than what most people got, or a lot of people got out of their quarterbacks this week. Chubb and Jacobs, I mean, that's looking like a great duo. Chubb, I think in our league, because of the half PPR, just got supplanted as number 1 by Eckler, but he's right there. I mean, look at just massive rushing totals so far this season. I hope he doesn't get hurt. I'm glad Jacobs is doing it because he's another guy that they just declined his 5th-year option or whatever, right?
I don't know.
I think he's another one of those guys. They just declined his 5th-year option, so he's kind of playing for a job right now as well. And first couple games are sleepy, but these last 2 have been great. Now he's actually in there getting the snaps.
Well, I think me and you were both on the same page when we were saying he wasn't going to do shit last night, and then he just ran all over fucking Kansas City.
He's like him and Devontae, the only ones getting anything done, but. Good pickup. I mean, you raped Adam. You took his best guys.
Trade raper.
Yeah. Your wide receivers suck though. Scary Terry, whatever. Deontay. Maybe he picks it up a little bit here with Pickett, but he's still got 13 targets. He's still a target machine, right? But Steelers suck, my dude.
Yeah, what a disappointing. I mean, Who knew that Big Ben was as good as he was?
Yeah,
And he
even
could
as old as he
orchestrate that
was and
offense.
busted as he was. But Ben in his last year still took the Steelers to the playoffs. And now it's just offense is in shambles. Darren Waller, like say man, you want to trade? Pitts is available. I'll take Waller for him. But I mean, honestly, what a disappointment at tight end so far this year as well. Injury aside, that sucks, but he just hasn't done anything. Gabe Davis, I'm sure you're feeling high on the horse about that one, and I'm real happy for you. Got this massive week out of him, but it's like I said, two 98 yards, or was it 98 and a 62-yard touchdown? If that happens one more time this season, I would be like crazy surprised.
I could see
2 in
I
one
could
game.
see it happening
maybe
again.
maybe like one in a game or two. But to have that
Oh, you're
happen
talking about the TDs. Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying 2 huge 250+ yard touchdowns in one game on 6 targets.
Highly unlikely.
Yeah. I'm just you got very lucky with it. I just I just know how Dan is. He's gonna run around. Oh, I got the best wide receiver because he had 2 massive catches. I don't know because Dan's such a badass guy, and he loves violence so much. I don't know how much he's got knocked around in his head, where if he really believes that or if he's just trolling. Input on that, or are you guys busy sexting right now?
We're sexing. No, he sent me some. He sent me a few trades himself. Not Sam, but we talked about it. It was
Oh yeah, I talked a couple trades with Dan too, and he starts going off the fucking rails and wants all your best guys, and Adam took the bait.
But the thing said it's legit, bro. I'm all about
like
fair
I said,
trade.
You're trying to tell me Brian Robinson for Mike Williams is going to be fair. Good luck.
No, it's like no. No.
Joe though, I mean, tough loss for Joe. That was pretty close. But Derek Carr, I love him as a quarterback too, but he's your quarterback one, my dude. You should have been trying to trade for Lamar. Just give Adam everyone. Melvin Gordon.
Well, he was. He said that he sent him a message saying, "Name your price."
Yeah. You got to be more aggressive than that, Joe. You got to know life it like Dan and
I think Joe is bound to lose anyways because Joe wasn't going to get fucking. Joe would have given probably a lot.
Sure.
But I don't think Joe would have given up his fucking everything.
No, and the reality to get someone like a Lamar, you probably, I don't know who on his team you'd have to give up Kupp, because Melvin Gordon ain't really worth anything. J.K. Dobbins, dude, oof.
Yeah, that hurts.
Yeah, but Cooper Kupp.
What sucks is he had a hell of a lot of his players did really well this week. Like Kamara actually showed up.
Yeah,
Goddard got his shit. Brown did good.
Goddard,
and he loses though. Yeah. Like that hurts.
That totally legit Geno Smith trade.
I remember that trade. That was
because Trubisky is definitely going to be better this season. But yeah, 24 points from Geno. He's your real quarterback one. Got him for. You got him and a
fucking
$1.
Peanuts.
Got him and $1 for a guy who's not even starting anymore. Zach Wilson. I mean, if this was, he'd be fine, I guess, as a 3, which I guess he is for you. This bench is rough though. What's going? Because James Conner,
he's out.
Seems to have avoided major injury.
Okay, well, here's another thing.
They're very cautious, so it sounds like he's probably going to miss a little time. But
they just signed former Ravens running back, Tyson Williams, so he's gone.
Tyson.
Yep.
Is it
Better
Tyson again?
believe. You better believe I threw a waiver claim. I'm sure I'm out of it. You're in the know. You might have a fucking good, you have more than me. But these other scrubs, I don't know how much they pay attention.
Is Eno available? Eno is available. I have Eno in that league I'm in with you. Maybe he's available for a little while. Yeah.
Yeah.
He keeps getting hurt though.
Shocked.
And even when Arizona running back. DeAndre Swift, man. Is there any news on him? Swift missed
they've been saying since he got hurt that he's probably coming back after the bye week.
That makes sense. Just have him come back after the bye.
But you know what? I'm comfortable running Jamal even when he comes back because
Jamal
it's kind
fine.
of
Jamal was fine.
I mean, he's number 6.
Now, to be fair, he kept getting touchdowns. Like he had 3 games with 2 touchdowns, or I guess his last one was with him out, but 2 games with 2 touchdowns while Swift was playing, right?
Yeah, I mean he broke off some big runs and whatnot too.
Yeah, I guess he got hurt DeAndre got hurt in week 3.
But in terms of like share, Jamal is getting more snaps than Swift is.
Yeah, no, I'm with you though.
He was before the injury.
Jamal's still a decent play even when Swift comes back. I don't mind that at all. Renfro, I mean, he's about to be good with Devontae out. But he's another guy. I don't know if there's anybody on the waivers I'd take over him, and you can't particularly trade him.
Ayuk, a dude who
this is Ayuk.
He's from Arizona. I want him to be good. I fucking want him to be good.
Arizona State, yeah. But I mean,
but he's just fucking so inconsistent.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. He's a wide receiver 40, 44, 45 right now. His first 2 seasons he was in the mid 30s. So maybe he has a little bit of room for improvement here, but this has just been what he's done. He's been really broken out. So I don't know. Joe, you guys are both 3-2 now. You're still in it. I don't know. Do something with James Conner though. I'm sure Mort will trade him for you.
I love Joe. I look to become strong friends with this man over the course of the next 15 years when we play fantasy. But I'm telling you right now, Joe, there's no fucking way I would ever touch Connor. Never.
What?
Marquise Brown?
In my swamp?
Maybe. But Connor's dead weight, brother.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, again, maybe towards the end of the year, the line somehow figures it out. But don't count on it. There's a reason Kyler is running all over the place, and our game against the Raiders, we won because Kyler Murray ran around for 40 fucking seconds. Our line sucks. Like, there's no way around it.
Yeah. But so we'll go on, let's finish up here with your match, you and Marshall. So obviously you still had that Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs connection going on.
Oh yeah.
That's Josh Allen. Everybody said he's gonna be number 1. He's number 1. He's probably gonna stay number 1.
That's basically what carried me to a win this week, is them two.
That's what's carried you to pretty much all your wins.
Oh, not even.
That was the point. That was the whole point of getting them.
Well, I mean, you can go back. You can go look at other weeks and whatnot, and you had Jones who would stand out or whatever. But
Jones had one big.
I get what you're saying. But I mean,
we talked about Jones a little bit. That's been kind of rough. Sanders, I mean, what? You got him in the 9th. I mean, and then you have a top 12 guy. He's getting used a lot more. So good on you for believing in him. It's just that he's just not ever going to be a huge. I mean, he's got 3 on the season touchdowns, but Hurts, once they get close to the goal line, that's what Hurts does.
I mean, they have Gainwell. Gainwell's getting a lot of looks too.
Sure.
Hurts is going to get them tutties.
Well, what was it? Was it like week 1 or 2? Like all 3 running backs on the team had a rushing touchdown.
Something like that. Yeah, it was the Detroit game where everyone was scoring.
Yeah,
it was fucking gross.
But no, sad. I mean, like I said, you got a top 12 guy in the 9th round, so good on you, man. I'm glad he's getting work again. Another Penn State guy. So happy to see him doing well. Um, Robert Woods. It's not really. He's man. Yeah, I guess his top score is 11. That makes sense why he's wide receiver 54. That hurts. But I mean, do you have anyone? No. Oh, you had Amon Ra. That's why.
Mhm.
That's why Amon Ra was out. Ertz, see, you at least have a playable tight end. Like,
Oh, he's he's
yeah, guy is
he's
getting
been pretty consistent. I'll
yeah.
take that over anything else.
Yeah, number 4 in PPR, so he's probably like number 5 in our league, right behind Taysom Hill. But no, good. That's good, man. I'm glad he's worked out for you because I know pre-draft we were talking about it and you were all hyped, and I was like, I don't know. That was a good call.
He
Jimmy
might be the
G.
league
I
winner.
tried to look at this. Jimmy G, man. I tried to tell you guys, this is the guy you want. Spend your
He
fab.
has only got 9 points. I mean, Seattle game, sure, 16 points. But 9, 14, let's say 10 and 14 and
Yeah,
17.
that Denver game was whatever. Denver has a decent defense. Rams, their defense is okay. Well, they have pretty good defense, right?
They have
But
Darnold or Donald, I forget his
the thing
name.
you also have to consider though is that Jimmy G didn't really have a training camp. He thought he was going to be traded. They signed him for a 1-year deal, and then he just had to step back into the role. So I honestly believe that as the year goes on, these numbers.
This is his training camp. These past few
Yeah,
games.
this 17 points, I really believe looks more like his norm, despite the projections.
Those projections will get changed as the season
Yeah,
goes on.
yeah,
They're just they put on the low end because the dude's a backup,
right.
quote unquote.
But no, I think he was a good pickup.
No, I'm thankful that we made that trade as well because
Right.
yeah, what a
Because
shitty option with Mayfield or
because
Jones.
you are still pretty good at wide receiver with, well, you got Diggs and then still have Amon Ra, and then you have enough guys that you can slot someone in between Zeke, Sanders, Jones, Jamal, Henderson if the Rams get their head out of their asses. But I don't know. You gotta do something with these quarterbacks. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Here's the thing. I think you could. I think you could just straight up drop Baker. Let somebody else take him.
let him be someone else's headache. Well,
Now the
I'll be
only
honest,
concern
that's the
is,
general idea I've got,
yeah,
but any
yeah.
piece is a trading
The
piece at this
only
point.
concern is because what Jimmy G's got to buy week 9, and Allen has his week 7. I don't know if Mac's back before you start having buys. But that
I
being
have no
said,
clue.
I also don't know if Baker's worth playing over some of these other guys in the super flex with the other guys.
No, I'd take a chance with Woods.
Sure.
Tannehill's starting to get a little better. Sure, Woods didn't really do much last game, but that happens. You're not always going to score 10, 15 points. I think Woods has 1 TD on the year. That was last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
But I'm comfortable with that because who the fuck is Tannehill going to throw to? If it's not the the Yeti running shit in, I don't know who Tannehill's thrown it to. I genuinely don't, other than Woods. But Mayfield is just. I was
Garbo.
I was really considering the Christian McCaffrey #1 overall, and then picking up Baker later on because I thought that would be a fucking
Oof.
huge connection.
Bet you
Fucking
glad
talk
you
about
didn't do that
I
one.
oh fuck yeah, fuck man, I'd be in one of these other. I'd probably be 2 and 3 right now. If I'm lucky, I'm 2 and 3.
But over to Marshall, man. It was a rough week for him.
I think his team's better, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean Carson
yeah.
Wentz, he's back. He had a bounce back, had a good week again, but he hurt his shoulder, so limited in practice today.
He's only been in the league for 6 years.
Yeah, apparently feels like I mean, but he's played on so many different teams.
Three
This
team.
is
Well, it's
third
crazy
team in
because
6 years. So
he was so good on the Eagles. Like
yeah,
I'll never forget whenever Foles took over, he went and set it like a touchdown record or something,
yep.
and was just so freaking good.
Okay.
And then he just faded into whatever the fuck he's doing now. This is another dude.
Clyde,
I
man. Because here's my thing with Clyde. He had this 1 week last week at Tampa Bay where he had 19 carries, but every other game he's under 10 carries. He's he gets a couple of receptions and he's been lucky with the touchdowns. He's been efficient, I suppose, with his carries and passes and everything. But I don't know. This is what I've been waiting for, the 5 point week.
Yeah, he was riding high for. And I'll be real. Like I was a little worried. I'm like, okay, if there's one dude that can go off, I didn't think I was going to lose after everybody
Sure.
else on his team shit the bed. But if there was a
Yeah,
dude that could have had the 30 points instead of Kelsey, could have been this dude.
right, because he's had a couple games already with 2 touchdowns. So it could have very easily been him getting 4, right? But obviously Kelsey's their number one target. Um, that stinks. This is more. I would personally expect to see more of these low scoring games for Clyde, only because of his lack of touches overall. Man, Hines.
It was at this moment that he knew.
That was
He
a rough
fucked up.
break.
Yeah, it was like literally had 1 carry and got concussed.
I think
But,
like
I mean,
overall
it was a
his
good
team.
move. I just don't get it. Like if that was your plan, I'm surprised you took the trade after. Why not just take the trade and play Jeff?
I think it was a frustration.
Maybe.
It's like I need to make a change. This is fuck kind of.
Yeah. Yeah. After
CD.
Hines got hurt. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you look at his team, CD, particularly when Dak comes back, because even without Dak, he's finally looking like the guy you wanted. When Dak comes
And then
back,
he
I
has
think
that
that
one
gets
off
better.
game.
DK looking great. He's got top 5 quarterback.
I think a lot of us probably slept on DK because we're
Absolutely.
thinking Geno Smith. No, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, where did he go? Fifth round. Maybe not slept too hard, but yeah, I think he easily. If Russ was, still there, probably he could have been 4th, maybe even third round guy. But yeah, and that's good value in the 5th because he's still looking good. Everett again, tight end wasteland. My boy Jeff. Told you guys. I tried telling everyone Marshall's the only one that listened. Look at this guy go. He's amazing. He's got a good beard. Cooper Rush, man, that's oof.
I think he's been serviceable.
He's been okay the last couple of weeks, yeah, with Dak out. But this last
Pisses
week,
me off though that he's been better than fucking Mayfield, and Homeboy just rides the bench.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I didn't really watch this game, but 16 attempts, 10 completions, 102 yards. That just hurts, and 2 fumbles.
Well, that defense, that Darnold is strong.
Yeah,
I think that was.
but yeah, you're right. It's just that stink. That's terrible. 2 points from anyone's terrible, particularly from your super flex.
Mm-hmm.
But
Again, I just lucked out against him because his team is. I feel like he's had a lot of bad luck.
Sure.
Dak getting hurt, just
it's been
the wrong
luck.
plays, and his team is probably better than we want to say. And I'd say this about Tyler's team to an extent too. It's like they're probably a little better than we care to admit, even though Homeboy is 0-5 now.
Tyler's team sucks.
Sorry, Tyler. I tried. Your team's shit, dude.
Marshall's team.
Sorry, brother. Garbage. F minus.
Marshall, pro tip: if you're listening this long, because we're getting it almost an hour and a half. Madison, keep him, because if Cook misses time and or he already missed 1 game, right? Or did he not? No, he didn't miss a game. but
Yeah,
he's
he was
bound to
throwing the
miss.
shoulder
He's
pad.
bound. He's bound to miss a game or two. So hold him. You traded JT. Here's the thing: you've got all these wide receivers now. Because Amari Cooper, he's been good. He's only going to get better. Probably, I can't say that for sure, but probably only gets better when Rapist comes back. Jacoby Myers is, I mean, he's a PPR machine. He got hurt, but look, I mean, he bounced back. Huh? He's getting touchdowns now. Finally, this guy, he's got 50% of his touchdowns of all of last season already. So you could play him easy, and then Drake London, like these last 2 weeks were a little rough, but I mean, he's the guy. I think they'll make a move at quarterback. You get Ritter in there, and he's a big bodied wide receiver, 6'4".
I mean, considering what else he's throwing out there to play,
that's what I mean. Look, he's got all these wide receivers that are playable here, and then he's got 2 more up here. So he's got five good wide receivers. I'd probably try and move some of those guys too. Because now you got Jeff.
I was looking at Jeff.
Who's he? Jeff and Clyde. You got Jeff and Clyde. Probably need to go get yourself another running back.
Who does he trade? So I'm looking at his team, and
Yeah.
it's like, well, you don't want to trade Wilson. I think you have to keep him. Obviously, he's just fucking good. But he's got
That's what I
good
mean.
receivers.
Here's what you do:
Amari
You go
Cooper,
to-
Myers, and Metcalf. I'd say you
go to
probably try and
Dan.
push Cooper.
You go to Dan. Actually, don't go to Dan because he's going to try and give you Brian Robinson for Amari Cooper straight up. Don't do that. I don't know.
Look at my team.
around.
Do I have anybody?
Yeah, find somebody that needs a wide receiver too, and get yourself. Yeah, I know. Do you need wide receivers?
I don't need them, but I'm always on the hunt
No,
for the
you
ultimate trade.
You could use one. You got running backs to give up. Maybe we make another trade. I got running backs to give up at this point, but I just want to make sure that Jonathan Taylor at least comes back and looks okay before I trade any of my other guys away.
So he's 0-5. And if I'm just looking at the league, how many people get into the playoffs? Is it 6?
Yeah, top 6, and then the top 2 get a bye week.
Okay. So long shot to make the playoffs, but I think there's a good chance that he could squeeze in. Because if you're looking, I mean,
No, absolutely.
472 points scored. He's had the most points scored against him, other than a convict.
Yeah.
He's had a tough fucking road.
That's
And
what I
it's
mean.
going to get a
It's
little
been-
easier for him.
It's been very unlucky. That's the reality of it. You
Yeah.
can absolutely go 0-5. You could go 0-6 even and still make the playoffs. Just you got to start getting some wins, right? So hopefully it starts happening. You got enough good players on your team, man. Hopefully you figure it out. I'd hate for you to because now all I'm thinking is this team, because he technically took over Courtney's team. Maybe it's just cursed. Or
Could be.
maybe it's the number 2 draft spot. Could be either one. I guess Marshall, assuming it's all just, bad times for the rest of the season, then stick around next season, take a different draft spot, and let's see what happens. We'll figure out if it's the team or if it's the spot.
Well, I'd put money on it. I have a feeling that he's going to start getting some wins, and his team's going to get Dak back. You start putting. You got Wilson. I think Wilson's a strong fucking pickup.
And he's actually
Set the
playing.
roster right,
Yeah.
and he'll be all right. I think he's got a real good shot to catch up, man. Because again, who's he played this year? And I'm not trying to
Worse.
simp for a dude,
No.
but it's like
But
he's
got
genuinely had a
Fredrickson.
rough go of it.
He's got Fredrickson this week, so that could be interesting. And it looks like he's playing Jeff, Clyde.
Dak comes back this week too, doesn't he?
Oh man, I don't know.
Let me see. Google.
To throw on Wednesday. So yeah, potentially. There's a chance he could return week 6. It'll depend on how he looks in practice this week.
Says he's going to begin throwing tomorrow. So
Yeah, so if he
Maybe.
comes out and he's looking good in practice, then Dak could come back, and that could be
If he
enough
comes
to,
back,
to
I
push
think
you
he's
over.
gonna win.
I think he has a good chance to. Because right now it's a little bit skewed towards Fredrickson, but that's because he's got Cooper Rush out there. Also,
Hawkinson's on the
Fredrickson-
bye.
Fredrickson also needs a tight end. I don't know, man.
I'm rooting for you, dude.
Yeah, we're rooting for you, Marshall. We're rooting for you, Marshall.
I know that feeling, brother. That was me last year. I know that feel all too well. So,
But I don't know, man. Any last thoughts for this week?
probably. I don't know. I wish that
What
these
the dog
fuckers that
doing?
are inactive would at least be active in a sense. Make trades at least.
Yeah,
But,
no, the league's been good. There's only a couple shitters out there, and I don't know because they're never gonna listen to this, guys. For the
Nope.
shitters in the league, start thinking maybe for next season if you got somebody that like you said.
My brother said he's down to join us
All
if
right,
we get room. So
we got at least one more autistic person to come in. Then
he's
So-
5-0 in his other league.
there you go.
So he's a
Hope-
real
hope-
powerhouse.
Hope he understands Superflex. Yeah, but he's used to playing
No.
with you.
Yeah, he's used to playing with the regular shitters who that only 4 teams get into the playoffs out of 12. And it's like
Yeah.
they don't know how to set a fucking league up. Bunch of rerees.
All right, man. I think that's all I got for this week. I'm gonna cut it off here and go get it uploaded. Till next
Sounds
week, y'all.
good.